Welcome to today's deep dive. When you pull out your phone and tap on a delivery app, there's this built-in expectation that you're interacting with some unique, custom-engineered marvel of Silicon Valley technology.
Oh, for sure. We all carry around this illusion of bespoke craftsmanship when it comes to our daily software.
Right. You see the polished logo,
Yeah.
the smooth animation sliding across your screen,
Yeah.
and you naturally just assume there's a massive team of developers in a glass tower somewhere.
Yeah, people who spent years and millions of dollars building that exact digital experience just for you.
Exactly. But then you peek behind the curtain of the modern digital economy, and suddenly that whole illusion shatters.
hmm
You realize you aren't looking at a unique piece of software architecture at all,
No, not at all. You're looking at a clone.
a clone, and not just some cheap, buggy knockoff, but a highly sophisticated, production-ready replica of a multi-billion-dollar platform.
Yep, it's pretty wild.
So, our mission today is unpacking this truly fascinating source document we've gotten our hands on. It's titled Postmates Clone New Strategy. And essentially, it's a literal blueprint for how anyone can launch a massive, multi-sided food and grocery delivery marketplace in 2026.
It really is a step-by-step guide.
Okay, let's unpack this because the premise alone is just wild. We are talking about buying an entire business model right off the shelf.
Yeah, so a clone script, in this context anyway, is a white label production-ready system.
Meaning the heavy lifting's already done.
Exactly. The complex database architecture, the quality assurance testing, all those core integrations with payment processors and mapping software, it's all been built, tested, and packaged.
Yeah.
As the buyer, you aren't really writing code. You're buying the engine, and your job is basically to paint the car, put your own logo on the hood, and drive it.
It makes me think about the housing market, actually.
Okay.
If you want to build a house, you could hire an expensive architect to design a bespoke custom mansion from the ground up, right?
Right, which takes forever.
Exactly. And that's traditional custom app development. Or you could buy a high-end prefab modular home. The factory has already figured out where the plumbing goes, how the electrical wiring connects, and they guarantee the roof won't leak.
You just pick the finishes.
Yeah, you just pick the finishes. The Postmates model in this document is basically that perfectly designed prefab home.
And before we look at how to build this system, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Right. Why base your new business on an app that doesn't technically exist anymore?
Exactly. I mean, let's look at the history of Postmates for a second. They were founded in San Francisco back in 2011, I believe.
Yeah, 2011. They were total pioneers.
Right. They essentially invented this specific model of on-demand trackable delivery. And then Uber acquired them for $2.65 billion in December of 2020.
A massive payout.
Huge. But then officially they shut down as a standalone app in June 2021. The unlimited subscription was just replaced by Uber One.
So the brand is gone.
The app interface might be dead, yeah, but the underlying logistics blueprint they perfected over a decade is arguably the most efficient routing and delivery model ever created.
Oh, that makes sense. Uber didn't spend $2.5 billion for the Postmates logo.
No, they bought the architecture. And that is exactly what this clone script is mimicking. What's fascinating here is how the math of that prefab tech model works out in reality.
Yeah, let's talk about those numbers, because the source document outlines a pretty brutal reality for anyone still trying to build custom software from scratch in this space.
It really does. If you want to build a multi-sided marketplace the traditional way, especially, with the development team in North America or Western Europe, you are looking at a timeline of 6 to 12 months minimum.
Just to get a version 1 out the door.
Right. And the cost ranges from $50,000 to well over $150,000.
Which is a massive barrier to entry. I mean, imagine being an entrepreneur right now in 2026. If you have a brilliant idea for a local delivery business, you're basically priced out before you even begin, unless you have serious venture capital backing.
Exactly. But the clone script completely inverts that math. By using this ready-made system, the timeline drops from a year down to just 3 to 6 weeks.
That is insane. 3 weeks.
3 to 6 weeks, and the cost plummets to between $10,000 and $25,000.
That drastically lowers the technical risk for you.
Yeah.
You're gambling $100,000 on a first version custom build that might just be riddled with bugs.
Not at all. You're launching on an architecture that has already been stress tested in the real world.
Okay, so now that we understand the cost savings of buying this, prefab tech, we need to look at what you are actually buying.
Right, because it's not just a single app that sits on your phone.
Wait, if I buy this, I'm not just managing one piece of software, right? I mean, looking at the document, it seems like I'm managing a massive interconnected ecosystem. I feel a bit overwhelmed just reading it.
Oh, it is complex, but it's manageable. We really have to break down the mechanics of the four distinct pieces of this clone script architecture.
The four-headed beast.
Exactly. So first is the customer app. This one obviously demands a flawless user experience.
Right, because if it's clunky, people just delete it immediately.
Yep. So it requires real-time order tracking, multiple payment options, everything from cash on delivery to mobile wallets.
And wish lists, right. The text mentioned wish lists being crucial.
Right, wish lists, saved addresses, all of that. But the moment a customer hits checkout, that app has to instantly communicate with the second node, which is the restaurant app.
Which is basically the tablet sitting on the restaurant's prep counter.
Yes, and this can't just be a passive screen receiving orders. It needs robust menu management and dynamic inventory.
Oh, like if a kitchen runs out of a specific ingredient?
Exactly. They need to toggle it off in their app, and that change has to instantly reflect on the customer app so someone doesn't order a meal that can't actually be cooked.
Plus, it needs earning reports and crucial access to customer information for, like, personalized experiences, according to the source.
Absolutely. Now, while the kitchen is cooking, the system is pinging the third node, the writer app.
The dispatch system.
Right. It manages availability toggles so writers can go offline or online and tracks their earnings.
And it facilitates in-app chat and call functions. Right. So the writer and customer can talk without exposing their personal phone numbers.
Exactly. Mass communication is standard now, but managing the customer, the restaurant, and the driver is fine until you realize the whole system collapses into chaos without a central brain.
Which brings us to the fourth piece, the admin dashboard. I kind of see this as basically an air traffic control tower.
That's a perfect analogy. The admin dashboard is the central hub where the platform owner manages everything. You monitor notifications, you delegate roles to sub-admins, you adjust geofences.
If we connect this to the bigger picture.
Right, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the platform only works if all four of these apps talk to each other flawlessly in real time.
Right, sub-second latency. The customer places the order in App 1, which updates the kitchen in App 2, which triggers a localized alert in App 3 for the writer, while App 4 just logs the whole transaction.
If any of those connections lag, the food gets cold, the driver gets frustrated, and the business dies.
Which is a perfect segue. So you have a perfectly functioning four-part tech ecosystem that's useless if it doesn't generate revenue, or if it just looks like a cheap knockoff of Uber Eats. How does this clone actually survive in the real world?
Well, the source text dives pretty deep into the monetization and the unit economics.
Yeah, the revenue model is fascinating. It mentions delivery fees, which obviously fluctuate, and service fees. But the massive chunk comes from a 15 to 30% commission charged to restaurants on every single order.
30% is a massive slice of margin for a local restaurant. It's a controversial figure, for sure.
It really is.
But it is fundamentally necessary to make a three-way logistics model actually work. When a $20 burger is ordered, the restaurant needs to cover food and labor, the independent driver needs to be compensated for their gas and time, and the platform needs its cut to maintain the servers and generate profit.
It's the mathematical reality of sustaining the ecosystem. But here's my pushback. If I launch this app tomorrow, why would you, as a listener, use my clone app instead of DoorDash?
Right. DoorDash already has the largest U.S. network.
Exactly. Or Glovo in Europe. They have billions in logistics infrastructure. You cannot fight a war of attrition against them.
No, you can't. And the strategy document explicitly acknowledges this. The solution to this lack of uniqueness isn't to compete head-on with the giants.
So what's the play?
You identify underserved niches. You use this big tech architecture to serve micro-local needs.
Like hyper-local grocery delivery in a specific neighborhood.
Yes, or pharmacy and medical supply delivery.
Or partnering exclusively with dark kitchens, those restaurants that literally do not have a physical storefront. They just cook food for delivery apps.
Exactly. You niche down.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The text suggests using advanced features to stand out even more. It talks about integrating gamification.
Oh, the gamification strategies are huge for retention.
Right. Like using leaderboards or digital badges for ordering from your favorite local coffee shop 5 times a week.
Plus robust loyalty programs and customizable delivery times. It creates a much stickier user experience than the giant, faceless apps offer.
So, okay, you have your niche, you have your monetization plan, and your clone script is ready. You are ready to launch. But the source material warns of some very specific technological and operational traps that kill these platforms early.
Yeah, we have to talk about the tech stack reality check first. I'm going to geek out for a second because the modern tech stack recommended in this source is exactly how you avoid those traps.
Walk us through it. What's running under the hood?
Okay, so first, it requires React Native for the mobile code base.
Which is an efficiency hack.
A massive one. Instead of writing separate code for Apple and Android, you write it once and it deploys natively to both. Then, for the backend, the brain, it recommends Node.js.
Why Node specifically?
Because of its non-blocking architecture. When 10,000 people try to order at 6:00 p.m. on a Friday, traditional servers form a queue. Node processes requests asynchronously so the app doesn't freeze.
That's critical. And for payments.
Stripe. You don't build your own payment gateway. Stripe handles it securely. For notifications, it uses Firebase to push alerts, even if the app is in the background.
But the map animation, that's the most vital piece, right?
Yes, Socket.io. It establishes a persistent, real-time connection so you can see that little car gliding along the map smoothly.
Okay, so assuming the tech works flawlessly, what's the fatal operational mistake an entrepreneur might make on day one?
The document highlights a massive, counterintuitive trap, the supply-side trap. You explicitly have to build your rider supply before your customer base.
Wait, really? Before you even have customers?
Yes. Supply-side constraints kill early delivery marketplaces much faster than a lack of customer demand.
So if someone downloads your app, they put in their credit card, hit order, and there are no riders to bring the food.
They will delete it forever. The trust is gone instantly. You have to solve the cold start problem by subsidizing drivers to wait around before the first order is even placed.
Wow. And there are some other essential survival tips from the text we should mention.
Yeah.
Like explicitly defining your revenue model against projected unit economics before development starts.
Right, you can't just guess at the math.
And you have to validate geographic demand before signing vendor contracts.
Don't launch a walking delivery app in a sprawling car-dependent suburb.
Exactly. Plus, setting up responsive in-app support from day one and offering a targeted launch incentive, like free delivery, to break people's existing habits.
It's a lot to manage, but the blueprint is all right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
When you step back and look at this, it's incredible. The reality of the 2026 software landscape is that a $2.65 billion company's business model can now be downloaded, customized, and launched by a small team for $15,000 in just a matter of weeks.
This raises an important question, though, about the future of tech.
What's that?
Well, if complex marketplace technology has become this commoditized and this cheap, then the true value of a business is no longer the code itself.
The code isn't the moat anymore.
Right. The real moat in the future isn't software. It's community trust, it's local relationships, and logistics management. If anyone can clone the app in a few weeks, who will be the ones to successfully clone the human element?
That is a fascinating thought to leave on. The human element is the only real differentiator left. So what does this all mean? Well, I challenge you the next time you open up your phone and tap on a delivery app, look at it differently. Realize that beneath the branding, they are all just ecosystems of code waiting to be cloned. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.